morning, Trailblazers. Today is Friday, January 24th, 2014. I'm Malachi.
And I'm Abby.
And we're your news anchors from Miss Ferris's class.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated.
Today's lunch is PB sandwich, spaghetti and meat sauce, and turkey taco salad. Side items include roast carpy vegetables and seasoned potato wedges. Fruit is also available.
Here's Miss Kristinger with Media News.
Thank you, news anchors. Thank you. And here we are. Good. Happy Friday, Trailblazers. We have some historic technology news to share with you today. In 1984, Apple Computer began selling its first Macintosh model. Mr. Schubert is here to help me out with some comparisons. There's a picture on your screen there of what it looked like back in 1984. So it looks a little bit different. And I'm going to pass the mic to Mr. Schubert, and he can tell you the comparison rates.
So we wanted to compare this first computer from 1984 from Apple Computer to some of the computers we use here today. And the computers have come a really long way. This one, when you look at this picture, you can see it only is black and white on the screen. The screen's only 9 inches. Now our screens are about 19 inches, so they've more than doubled, and they can show millions of different colors. This computer had an 8 megahertz processor, and now we're running computers with about a 3 gigahertz processor, which is 375 times as fast the computer can do things. So when you're using that computer and you think it's running slow, just imagine doing it 375 times slower. This one had 128 kilobytes of storage, or of memory, and that also impacts how fast things can happen and how much you have open at one time. Today's computers have 4 gigabytes of memory, and that's 32,768 times as much memory compared to this computer and the computers we're using today in our labs and in our classrooms. This computer didn't have a hard drive. Our computers today have a built-in hard drive, but this just had a floppy drive, which Ms. Krissinger is going to show what the floppy disk looked like. But the floppy disk could only hold 400 kilobytes of storage of information on it. And now we have hard drives that hold 160 gigabytes, which is 399,000 times as much information, pictures, videos that we can save on our computers. It's a huge change. When in 1984 you really couldn't save a lot of pictures and videos. That was just not really a thing. We had text and documents and that kind of information. And then we wanted to compare the price. That computer we were looking at sold for $2,495 in 1984, which money did not go as far in 1984. You could buy a lot more with $2,500 back then than you can now. But today, the price of a really pretty solid new computer is $1,000 or less. So that is a huge change, 2.5 times more than it cost back then to get a computer like that. So computers really do develop extremely rapidly in 30 years, all of that.
Thank you, Mr. Schubert. And I saw some extremely interested looks here in the newsroom, so I hope that was interesting for you as well. This is what the floppy disk looked like, if you want to zoom in on that. You had to put that into your computer to save information. Aren't you glad you don't have to keep track of these? Now we have, what, a flash drive?
Flash drives.
Flash drive. Okay, great. We have some books here in the Media Center that I wanted to share with you. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak were the creators of the Apple computer, so here is a book about them. And we also have computer pioneers. So you might want to take a look at those and check those out. Okay, happy Friday. Back to the news crew.
Now let's go to Dr. Poole for a few announcements.
Good morning, Trailblazers, and it's a cold morning, but I think that update on the technology was awesome. I was trying to think what I was doing in 1984. But I will say this, coming up in the years to come, don't be surprised that they will be upgrading our brains with chips. And that's going to be really awesome. I don't know if mine would be upgradable by that time. But let's go on to some very, very important news this morning. We have birthdays to celebrate. And today we have Emily Jordan, Aiden Miller, and McKinley Russell. On tomorrow, which is Saturday, we have Gray Benedict. And on Sunday, we have Hannah Flynn and Ainsley Lees. Come on down, boys and girls, to the front office. We are indeed celebrating with you. Happy birthday. And some more news. We are celebrating again with those students that have mastered their math facts. In Mrs. Penson's class, we have Sean Gonzalez and Vince Nicatola, they have mastered their addition facts. In Mrs. Bird's class, we have Jordan Hart, who has mastered his multiplication facts, and Aiden Melendez, who has mastered his division facts. And in Mrs. Coker's class, we have Omarion Walters, who has mastered his division facts. Boys and girls, hats off to you. What a way to blaze that trail to success. Keep up the good work. And last but not least, we have an announcement. We've been announcing Child's Howl Out. Not owl, but howl out. I like that. And it's going to be this evening, January 24th. And I understand it will be in the school gym. The tickets are $5, and this is in recognition of the American Heart Association. If you have time and you want to be a part of that, please go out this evening. It starts at 7 o'clock p.m., and that's at Childs High School in the gymnasium. And believe it or not, this is a great Friday. It was a short week, and those are all the announcements that I have. I'm going to turn it over right now to the news team. Are we ready? That's it for today's edition of
WDTS, Radiating Success Trailblazers. Bye.